I'm Emily Hayes, a woman in my late 20s who's always believed kindness is the glue that holds a fractured world together. I run a small coffee shop, the Brookhaven, tucked into a lively corner of a quaint town. It's not much worn wooden floors, mismatched chairs, but it's my sanctuary. Money's tight, the bills stack higher each month, yet I can't turn away a hungry face. On a crisp fall evening, as the sun dipped low, casting golden streaks through my shop's foggy windows, I spotted him, a man shivering outside. His coat threadbare, his shoulders hunched against the chill. Compassion tugged at me. I grabbed a mug of hot coffee and a slice of my cinnamon bread. Pride and joy, and stepped out. Thought you might need this, I said, offering them with a smile. His hands trembled as he took them, his voice raspy as he muttered, "Thanks." I'm Daniel. His eye, weary but kind, flickered with gratitude. I didn't linger. Kindness isn't a transaction to maybe. Returned to my counter, wiping flour from my apron. Little did I know, Daniel wasn't just a drifter. Beneath his ragged exterior hid a tech mogul. Michael Reed had traded his penthouse for anonymity, craving a glimpse of life untainted by wealth. My simple gesture cracked something in him, a cynicism built from years of shallow connections. He lingered that night, watching me chat with regulars, slip extra muffins to kids, and lock up with a tired sigh. My shop's glow dimmed as I flipped the sign to closed. Business had been sluggish. Fewer customers, rising cost, and I whispered a prayer for strength. As I turned the key, Daniel McKelloch from across the street, his breath fogging in the cold. He saw my struggle, my quiet resolve, and it stirred him. HST spent years chasing profit, but here was a world richer in ways HST forgotten. Over the next few days he became a fixture, perched at a corner table with a coffee he'd insist on paying for. Though I'd wave it off, I'd greet him with a grin. "Same spot, huh?" Nod, eyes tracing my every move. How I'd comp a meal for old Mr. Jenkins, or coach a shy teen through her first job application. I didn't know his secret, but I felt his curiosity. One night, as rain patted the windows, I brought him a scone. "You're out there too much," I teased, nudging him inside. He hesitated, then stepped into the warmth of espresso and nutmeg. We talked small things, the weather, my bread recipe. I saw a flicker of wonder in him. My shop was a lifeline, not just for me, but for this patchwork community, and he seemed drawn to its pulse. I didn't flaunt my worth. Overdue rent, the dwindling flour sacks, but they weighed on me, my best friend. Claire saw it all. "Emily, you're giving too much," she'd scold over tea, her brow furrowed. "You can't save everyone if you sink." I shrugged. "It's not about saving. It's about showing up," she'd sigh, knowing my heart wouldn't bend. Daniel McKelloch coming, his presence steady yet unobtrusive. Watch me, knee on my hands steady, despite the ache in my back. Or laugh as I danced with a broom to the radio. One morning, he caught me hauling coffee bags from a delivery truck, the driver too lazy to help. I waved off his offer, but he grabbed a sack anyway, his strength surprising me. "Why do you push so hard?" he asked. Later, over a shared pot of tea, I paused, steam curling between us. "Because this place, it's my parents' dream. They're gone, but here I keep them alive. And maybe it helps someone else hold on to." His gaze softened, and I wondered what he saw in me. Fool or a fighter? The shop teetered on collapse. I crunched numbers late at night, the red ink glaring, but mornings still found me baking, smiling for every soul who walked in. Claire urged me to cut corners, but I cooled to it, rather close than compromise. Then came the supper. My parents had hosted free meals for the needy, a tradition I'd kept alive. That week I scraped together soup and rolls, Claire pitching in with potatoes when my pantry ran dry. "You're crazy," she muttered, chopping beside me. "Maybe," I grinned, "but it's worth it." The night turned my shop into a heaven, lanterns, glowing voices, mingling, the scent of broth warming the air. Strangers, loners, family the ate. They smiled, and I felt my parents' pride in every bite. Michael sat among them, his coat swapped for a borrowed sweater. Blending in, he watched me serve. My apron stained, my laughter genuine. "You've given us more than food," a woman whispered, her eyes damp. I squeezed her hand, my throat tight. As the crowd thinned, Michael helped stack chairs, his voice low. "This is special, Emily." I brushed it off. "It's just what we do." But his look lingered, heavy with something I couldn't name. The next day trouble swaggered in Rickard Voss, a local real estate shark. All slick suits and cold smirks. "A cute little charity gig," he sneered, eyeing my shop like prey. "But this place, it's bleeding cash. Sell it before it's worthless." I squared my shoulders. "It's not about money. It's about people," he laughed. A sharp edge to it and left me rattled but defiant. Michael overheard, his jaw tight. Voss's words echoed the cutthroat world. And they lit a fire in him. He started pitching and wiping tables, restocking cup small acts that eased my load. "You don't have to ID say but HT smile. I want to." Claire grew weary. Cornering him one day while I was out. "What's your deal?" she demanded. He met her glare. "I care about her. Her heart, her fight. I'm not here to hurt her." She softened but warned, "Prove it when it's hard, not just when it's easy." Her words stuck with him. And I noticed a shift. This help grew steadier, his questions deeper. My breaking point came quietly. One night, I tallied my debts around 2 months late, suppliers threatening to cut me off. Claire suggested a loan, but I refused. "This shop's honest, or it's nothing," I said, my voice cracking. I decided to sell my mom's ring, a silver band etched with ivy, her last gift to me at the pawn shop. My fingers shook as I handed it over. "You sure?" the clerk asked. His voice gentle. I nodded. Tears held back. "It's for something bigger." That night, Michael noticed its absence, his brow furrowing. "Just a trinket." I lied, but he saw through me. His silence heavy with understanding. He acted fast, discreetly. He planned a local spotlight event, pitching it as a community boost. "But it was for me. Your shop deserves eyes." He said, eyes earnest. I batched wahimi, but his faith swayed me. I baked my best scones tarts. Breton showed up, nerves jangling. The room buzzed with townsfolk, a few business types to their praise, washing over me. "This is gold," a cafe owner murmured, eyeing a partnership Voss crashed. His sneer cutting a failing hobby shop. He scoffed. I fired back. "It's a heartbeat, not a balance sheet." And the crowd cheered. He slunk out and Michael grinned, pride in his eyes. The event shifted everything. Boarders trickled in catering gigs, bulk by seizing my strain. Michael revealed his plan, an investment, not charity. "I believe in you, Emily," he said, laying out a Visiono ovens, a second location. I wavered, pride clashing with hope. "Why me?" I asked. "Because you're real," he replied. "And that's worth more than gold." I agreed, tentative but trusting. Then Voss struck, spreading lies to suppliers, jacking prices. I panicked. But Michael still. Daniel Tomu worked shadows, smoothing it over with calls I never saw. The storm passed and I marveled. "It's like magic," he just smiled. Our bond deepened. He wasn't just a helper. He was my rock, his quiet faith lifting me. One night as we planned over coffee, I confessed I couldn't do this without you. He paused, then said, "You already were. I'm just along for the ride." Claire saw it too, her doubts fading. When he finally told Memical Reed, not Daniel, a billionaire had found my "Why hide?" I asked. Hurt mingling with awe. "I wanted you to see me. Not my money," he said. I believed him, his heart had proven it. Today the Brewhaven Thrive Estu shops, a loyal crew, and I'm Emily, not just surviving but soaring. With a friend who saw my light when I couldn't.